And welcome to another show. Well, there's a new Goodwill national poll out. Amid pandemic, a majority of current job seekers say that lack skills, they do lack the skills needed to access good jobs. And the majority of adults are not in an ideal job with a path for growth. And most say skills training would help. All right, so what does all this mean? Well, I've been fortunate enough to be able to get hold of Mr. Stephen C. Preston. He is the president and CEO of Goodwill Industries International. Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you very much. It's great to be with you this morning.
Well, the results of the poll, I ask you, 47% of unemployed respondents say a lack of skills or education. It's made it hard to maintain work or get a better job during the pandemic. And 36% of recent job seekers had all applications rejected, with the most common reason being a lack of skills. So, what's the good news? What's going on with Goodwill and its Rising Initiative, its Rising Together Initiative?
Yeah, thank you. Let me just kind of paint the picture a little bit more broadly here. We're in a job market where we have 11.5 million unfilled jobs and just over 6 million unemployed. So, what we hear is anybody who wants a job can find a job. It's the most robust job market we've seen in decades. But what we don't talk about is, in addition to unemployed people, there are people who are underemployed, unable to get full-time work, or employed full-time but not making a sufficient wage to take care of themselves and their families. And when you add those numbers together, we're looking at over 20 million people in our country right now.
Wow.
And so we decided to do a poll to say, well, what is your experience in looking for a job? If you're looking for a job, what's your experience been? Or if you want a better job, what has your experience been? And what we found overwhelmingly is people who wanted a better job and actually, in many cases, were actively involved looking for a better job, said that they were unable to get those jobs because they didn't have the skills they need. In some cases, they applied and were unable to get them, but in many cases, they didn't even bother applying. And the irony here is you have this millions of jobs that employers want to fill with people that have the skills, and you have millions of workers who need better jobs so that they can have a better life for themselves and their families. Mm-hmm. And the gap is skills. And sometimes we're not talking about somebody getting a 4-year degree in computer science or something like that. In many cases, people just need a couple of courses to learn basic digital skills.
Well, that's right.
Or other workforce competency skills. And so this is a problem we can solve, and it is not only good for the individuals who need that better pathway in life, but it's good for employers. It helps them be more competitive in an economy where we're very much competing with companies around the world.
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on, in my opinion, there, to be honest with you. I think too many people are pigeonholed because of their background, and the resumes they send off, tend to put them into one specific area when really they've got the nous to be able to learn, like you say. A couple of courses can make all the difference. And next minute, that company's got themselves a darn good worker who maybe, is just taking a different path a little bit. Makes sense, doesn't it?
No, that's absolutely right. And I'll tell you, some of the stories we see are just incredible. I can think of two off the top of my head where there were single moms with children who were homeless. And they came to us and within 4 to 6 months had jobs in the technology field, taking care of their families and living in a home. In many cases, that breakthrough is just around the corner. People have the grit, they have the desire, they're trying to take care of their families, so they feel the sense, that we all have, that we want to take care of the people we love, and they just have never had access or an understanding of how to move forward. The other interesting thing about this, which I think is very important to understand, is once somebody goes through that process where they get the skills and they get a better job and they see how it works, many times people are unstoppable after that, because all of a sudden they've said, well, I can do this and I understand how to do it. And now that I'm in a better job, I can actually see the promotion opportunities ahead of me and how to get those. And so it's not just moving people from point A to point B. It's giving people the tools and the understanding to get from point B to Z, right? And it really is life changing.
So your initiative then also connects people to a wide range of resources, including credentials, skill training, job placement, internet access, and transportation, right? Now, you've got partners involved with this, so maybe you can share that with us.
Yeah, so what we did last year is we began to realize that there are a number of corporations that really wanted to be part of this solution. People increasingly thinking about how they can have a positive impact on their community, and also committed to people specifically who are looking to move forward in the job market. And we worked with these companies to say, what do you do well? And what does that mean for how you can support people? So, for example, one of our very important partners is Google. And one of the things Google did was, number one, they said, we want to support a number of local markets by helping people get digital skills. And also, we're going to give you online digital training through a partnership with Coursera so that anybody who comes into a Goodwill can take online classes in various digital capabilities. Another example is Indeed.com. Well, Indeed.com is the largest job search engine in the world. Indeed said, well, we'll support you so that when your participants are looking for to get a new job, they can come right onto our platform. We'll give them support with resume writing skills, and actually we'll help you with local job fairs in your local market, so people can actually come in and interview with employers. And Lyft for a time was giving people transportation vouchers to get to interviews and to get to new jobs once they landed them, because many times people didn't have sufficient transportation. So they said, well, this is what we do, and we know it's a need for people, and we'll help them until people can get on their feet. So, people have been very creative in coming and saying, well, what do we have that can be helpful to you? Based on the capabilities we have. And it's really been wonderful.
Well, isn't that great? Huh? Together, a growing collective of committed industry partners, global philanthropic and business leaders, Fortune 500 companies. In the couple of minutes we've got left, I'd like to ask you, how did the pandemic disproportionately impact women and people of color?
Well, we did. Initially, we saw, very large job losses, and those disproportionately affected people of color and women. And when we did our survey, what we found was women of color disproportionately said they wanted a better job, but were unable to get one because of a skills issue. And because we are, especially the last 2 months in the job market, we've seen women coming back into the job market more actively than we had earlier in the post-pandemic. If we can call it post-pandemic, I'm not sure if that's even actually not even a relevant term potentially. But when we asked women of color who said that they were not in their ideal job, what their experience was, over 2/3 of them reported that they didn't even apply for certain jobs because they were concerned that they lacked the required skills. And when you look at all the demographic groups, that was by far the highest who reported that.
Well, this is a great thing that you're doing. The Rising Together Initiative, folks, is what it's about. And people always love to go and grab a cup of joe or something and sit in front of a computer screen and have a look. I guess these days on their tablets or phones. Personally, phones too small for me, but have a good look at the website. There's a lot of information on it. It's www.goodwill, one word, goodwill.org/rising together, rising-together. Is that correct?
That's correct. Or you could just go to goodwill.org. And if you go to goodwill.org, you can learn about Rising Together. But if you're a job seeker or somebody who needs support, you can get online training. You can get online support in writing your resumes or preparing for interviews. And you can even apply for jobs in your local market through our partnership with Indeed. So that goodwill.org website gives you a much broader set of resources and capabilities. And then if you do /rising-together, you can hear about this initiative more specifically.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. Well, a wonderful, wonderful job. Full kudos to you, Stephen. Excellent effort. President and CEO, Goodwill Industries International. That's GII. We were speaking with Stephen C. Preston, talking all about this wonderful Rising Together initiative. And thank you to the companies that got involved with that. Stephen, keep us informed, won't you, as things go down the road? We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you. And thank you, Mark, for getting the word out. We appreciate it very much.
You got it. Have a great week. Bye-bye now.